Good. All right, we're back on. I'm Jared, by the way.
I'm Josh.
What's up? It's been another crazy week of crazy stuff going down, and Gordon Hayward breaking his foot off,
Yeah.
making my feet hurt.
Yeah, that whole thing just stinks so bad, man. 'Cause I was excited about the Celtics this year. I was excited about there being two teams in the East this year. I just hate it. I mean, I think Boston can still play, but 5 minutes in, I mean, it was such a big acquisition. It just sucks. I just hate to see people get hurt like that.
It was one of those injuries that instantly everybody starts talking about, like the Joe Theismann injury. I've yet to watch it. I don't care to. I just get sick at watching stuff like that. But
Unless it's Sid Vicious.
that one's hilarious.
Yeah, it's awful, but I'm with you. It's like I do laugh when I watch it because I'm a complete jerk.
It's like and the Joe Theismann injury. I remember I saw that on accident. Didn't even mean to see it. It was one of those kind of plays that I didn't know what was coming. And I think it was like Sports Center or something like showed up one day, and I was like, God.
Oh no!
But it reminded me, like, what's like some of the like craziest like live on the field sports injuries, and that's, the first one that always comes up. Then I thought about I want to say it was like Dave Burbeck or Dave for the Giants, like in the late '80s, like on the mound, and just like it's one of those kind of things. Like you watch it happen, you're like, how did that happen? Where he's like pitching and just arm just like breaks.
Yeah.
In a couple of places, really gross, nasty looking stuff.
It is gnarly. That's one of the nastier ones of.
It's just like, what just happened?
And it sucks too. It's not like the Triple H quad thing where Triple H feels his quad come off the bone and he's just like real quiet and tells the guy about it. It's like Gordon Hayward where they know, A, they know they're messed up, B, it hurts like a son of a gun. So you just, man, there's a whole lot of awful in those clips, man.
And it's like that one always comes to mind. I think it was it Tito Ortiz a few years ago that like kicks old buddy during the match and like goes to plant his foot, doesn't realize that he broke his tibia amphibia. It's like, whoa!
And then his foot's not there. I know exactly what you're talking about, except who it is, but I know you're right.
It's either Tito or might even one of the Diaz brothers or something. But it was like one of those like leg wraps around old buddy kicking him.
It was Silva, wasn't it?
Oh,
that was the beginning of the end for Silva. Yeah.
And just, I think it's one of the kind of things I think he didn't even feel it. He just like goes. That's what makes this one like look even worse. Like he goes to like plant on his foot. And it's like whoop.
Yeah, like business as usual. And it's like
Jesus,
awful.
what happened?
Yeah, man.
Like Jason Kendall a few years ago, like charging down first base, and like plants really hard on first base with his ankle, and you can just he did that roll up.
It looked kind of like what Bryce did earlier this year, but
Yeah.
Bryce didn't get hurt. Because when Bryce hit that bag, I mean, it looked like his leg was going 4 ways at once, and I think everybody was shocked that he was okay. I couldn't believe he was. I was glad, but man, it looked bad.
And and everybody's favorite, the greatest heel turn in wrestling history. That's usually what we end up talking about. Is Sid Vicious.
Sid Vicious, man.
And part of it is just the gruesomeness of the injury, and part of it is just who it happened to. And you're just like, oh man, there's some justice in this.
Shoot, yeah, man, that was Karma's leg break, man. the Karma lock.
Yeah. And that's another one too that I remember watching as it happened, not knowing it was coming, and just kind of, did I just see that crap? Yeah.
The worst ones I've ever seen, I'll make it real quick. Actually, soccer injuries, man, but they're a lot like Gordon Hayward.
Oh, yeah.
One of them in particular, a guy named Alan Smith, who used to play for lots of places, Leeds United, Man United, was playing in the midfield for Man United, and he just went to slide tackle a guy. Well, his foot that went under his butt, basically, the studs got caught in the grass. He lands on the top of it, and just his foot just came off, basically. And it was a lot like Gordon Hayward, where the way he reacted to it and the way his teammates reacted to it, they were just really concerned about him walking again, much less playing again. But
name of the game.
It kind of turned out like Gordon. Apparently, I've heard that Gordon, like we were talking earlier, man, that Gordon's is not.
There's some good news.
Yeah, that it's like, I mean, it's going to be a long recovery, but at least there will be a recovery. So that's awesome. And Smudger came back and played. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
The other guy was Djibril Cisse. He used to play for Liverpool, and then he was a French international. and he got Theismann on both legs. I
Jesus.
kid you not. Both legs. Different times, too.
Mm-hmm.
He got the first leg break, took him out, and then he
Yeah.
rehabs and comes back. Then it happens to him again, and he still came back. It was amazing. It was gross, but really amazing and quite impressive that he was able to do that.
And that's the other thing about the Theismann break that nobody ever really gives credit to the man of talking about the reaction. In the second, like if you don't know the Theismann break, LT basically wraps Joe Theismann's leg around himself, what looks like several times till it breaks in many places. And the second it happened, he knew. He was like calling for
Yeah.
like, all right, this guy's hurt. Get out here. And so he, speaking of a guy that doesn't always get the credit he
For
deserves.
real. There's a couple of those stories that are really interesting, man. Chucky Mullins, that whole story is one of them, man. I don't think it's 30 for 30. I think it's one of the SEC stories or something about that. But there was some game, I wish I could remember who it was, man, where two guys collided, and basically the guy on top, I don't know if it was instinct, I don't know if the guy told him or if it was intuition, but they smash into each other, land on top of each other, and the guy on top of him literally refused to move until the staff got out there, and because he just knew. He knew something was up. He knew the guy was that hurt that it's like, man, if I move, I might make this worse.
Yeah.
And I think the Chucky Mullins thing, their face mask got linked up. So the guy just lays there, and he's all like, oh, man, gotta try. But it's just cool, like you're saying, when people like, man, if I move, this guy might really get hurt. And I mean, that's cool. I don't know how anybody figures that out, but I'm glad that in those instances they did, because it's scary stuff. I was actually at the Ohio State-Penn State game when Adam Taliaferro got his neck broken.
Oh, man.
And that's an incredible story, because OSU Medical was on the site immediately and apparently did, like Gordon Hayward, work, were just immediate with the work they went to, or what they wound up doing immediately, helped him out. And, dude, it wasn't a year later. He was leading Penn State onto the field against Miami. That was shocking, because it was just a great story.
Cool. And, well, it's like old buddy a year or two ago in the tournament, breaks his leg in a real nasty ways. Like you just don't think of basketball being one of those games where that can happen, but he played on a really hard surface.
You jump up and down a lot, and such big people too. I think that's like they were giving Shaq such a hard time about his feet being all beaten up, and it's like he's been 340 since he was in a sophomore in college.
What you want me to do?
Jumps up and down a lot, man. I'm glad the guy can still walk around. I'm glad he's comfortable in his Buick, man, because it's like it's a big fella, man. That dude gave us a lot to give us what he gave us.
Yeah, man. That's like the photos of Pele's feet. Like, what you want me to do?
Yeah, Pele. There's one of Barishnikov I always thought was really interesting. Same exact thing, like you're talking about. Like, am I living with these things, man?
It's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah, for real.
How much else went on this week? It's crazy sports injuries have just been clogging up my Facebook.
Yeah, man. About all I've really been up to is the Hawks getting started, because I love that, and I know the Hawks are terrible, but they're my Hawks, and I love them. And they did beat Dallas on opening night, which that's nice.
We're doing something.
Yeah, and win a road game. That's cool. And then quickly, we talked about it a little bit earlier, man. 71,000 more people went to the Bend today to watch Atlanta United secure up fourth place and get the playoff gig, which now I'm having an existential crisis, because I'm going to have to go watch it, because before there was an Atlanta United, Columbus Crew was my team.
Cool.
That is who the playoff opponent is, and if the Crew leave Columbus, I'm going to be really sad, because it's just been a lot of fun having those guys around. So I hope they get the stadium deal worked out up there. But at the same time, maybe they will move. And if they do, the first ever playoff game being the only time you've ever seen your old team, and then it's the last game they play if Atlanta wins. I don't know. There's a lot of poetry going on there. I'm thinking I might have to go, man. I got 4 days to decide, because it's Thursday night.
That's sweet.
Yeah, but I'm really excited that they're in, because that was my whole thing. Was, of course, I wanted to finish second, so you get the week off. But all I cared about was getting that one playoff spot, and I just wanted the home people to get a game, and that's going to happen now. So I'm stoked. 2-2 draw today. I think they pulled it level in the 84th, which is a bummer. But you know what? I'll take one before I'll take zero, and it's the point we needed. They're in the playoff. That is freaking awesome. I'm very happy.
Cool.
Sorry, one more quick thing. Went to the Tech Wake Forest game last night and loved it. I wait forever for Wake Forest to come back to town because I like them. I like their style. And just took us a hot minute. I was telling my family's in town, man, and I was telling them. But instead of hanging out with them, I'm doing this because the man's awesome, and I got about
Sorry, guys.
It's cool. They're very sweet. They let me. They were totally awesome about it. Got to come see the man.
Yeah, man.
So I was telling
Bullcrap pay-per-view.
yeah, I was telling them that this bullcrap pay-per-view with one thing. We'll get to that one thing because it's why to hang out's why I showed up. But we were talking about it like, there is that one thing I really want to see. But I was telling them, man, I can't tell you how many games I've seen where Tech will get a nice lead. Yeah, man, 17-0, all right, 20-0, all right, man. And then inside the last minute, they score a touchdown, 20-7. I'm like, is that the first pebble rolling down the mountain? Well, that's what we did yesterday because we cut the lead to 8 right before the half. And it's like, well, maybe this is the game that we do that. And it was. Defense gave up 3 points in that second half, man. They went crazy. Cravante went nuts. Cravante Benson averaged 6 yards a carry last night, had 140 basically, and his longest tote was 18. If you get 140 and your longest one is 18, that means you kicked Heine on pretty much every carry.
Yeah.
It was awesome. One of the main things, though, aside from them winning, which is always fun, them playing well, which is always fun, because we finally got our night game this year. I've complained all year about noon games. They're better for the kids. They're better for the coaches. But I'm selfish. I want what's good for me. So I wanted a night game, and it was awesome because night games at Tech are a lot of fun. And
It's not a school night.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
It's just it's those night games on Thursday night that are kind of like, which is just necessary.
The weirdest thing about the Thursday night games is you will not find better atmosphere in the state. And Georgia games are incredible. The problem, I don't mean to diss my Georgia people, but Georgia fans know this is true. University of Georgia football games are rowdy as a son of a gun until the visitor scores once, and then it's a mausoleum, and that's very, very frustrating. It's really not Georgia's problem. That's the SEC's problem, except for LSU, who do not care. They don't care if they're down by 50. They're still going crazy but they play all those games at night, and all the kids are so drunk they don't care.
Yep.
And that's the whole deal. But Thursday night games at Georgia Tech are unbelievable because it kind of becomes the club, and it's fun. But yeah, it was awesome. All I mean by better for the kids is that the players hate them. I know the players hate waiting around all day. And if I was actually playing, it's selfish and I feel bad for them, but I do feel good for me. It was awesome, man. So that was my Tech story. So good stuff. We were talking. Everybody was off. And then everybody lost. Like I had this one week where everybody was off, and then Miami Gate happened where the Falcons lost to the Dolphins and Tech lost to the Hurricanes, and I'm like, well, this just sucks, man. And then this week, United got a point, Tech won, the Hawks have lost too, but they're playing. I don't care. I'm happy. It's good stuff. And we don't know what happened with the Patriots. We'll find out.
As of right now, I think it might still be going on, but it wasn't looking good when I checked at halftime. I think it was like, well, this isn't going to work out.
Are they literally booking a Super Bowl black hole? Are you serious? The Patriots are going to have a huge lead at halftime, and Atlanta's going to rally. I mean, pretty sure Atlanta's going to win, but that's pathetic if they're that unoriginal.
Who's booking this crap?
That's what I'm saying. Get yourself another writer. SEC CBS, you need to call me because I can get you some entertainment, baby.
So, I thought it was a straight up joke. Some of the stuff I saw come across my phone the other week, like leading into this bullcrap pay-per-view. I was at work and I'm like getting ready to get out of there, and I like saw this notification from the app that I always forget to turn off. It's about something about Kurt Angle makes his return with the Shield, and I'm like, okay, so he added himself to the match to make it 4-on-5, and what sense does that make?
That's what I would have thought too, and I would have asked myself, what sense does that make?
It's kind of dumb.
This is a bunch of malarkey.
And get home and realize all the other stuff that had gone on this week. Nia Jax going Neville on that ass. I was like hoping that wasn't true. Apparently that's going down. Anglegate with the whole meningitis outbreak. And when you heard who got it, it was kind of like, that's kind of funny. But because that's all I've ever heard is how, whether it's viral, bacterial meningitis, is like super contagious, potentially super dangerous, especially if you're a kid and you get it. I mean, that could be your last case of the runs. So when you realize that it started off with, okay, JoJo and Bray, everybody's kind of, then you hear that Bo Dallas guy like, oh, y'all nasty. But how does Roman get in there? Was he, riding with him?
Roman Reigns.
Yes.
Freak.
Yes.
That's it. Simple as that.
He's like, hey, it's my turn with JoJo. Well, let's tell you something first, Roman.
Seriously.
That'll be okay.
Yeah, don't tell me that he was the guy operating the camera with Paige and Xavier Woods. We
Oh,
never
no.
did figure out who was behind the camera. Man, you guys sure you want to do this?
The mystery cameraman.
Yeah, seriously. It was me. It was Stone Cold Steve Austin all along. No matter what, that should be the answer.
It was all this crazy stuff going on with this build-up. Hardly any build-up to the show that had the build-up that we got. People didn't really kind of like in the first place. It was like, well, why not change everything up? I mean, we didn't want to see what they had booked in the first place.
Absolutely.
And one of the good things is, considering that Bray Wyatt can't go, that we get AJ Styles and Finn Balor.
The first match in a long, long time where I don't know who got in Vince's ear. I don't know how much arm twisting they had to do. I don't know what it is, but
Don't make it make sense. Just do it.
don't need a build up. Don't need an angle. You don't need anything because quite simply, those two guys getting in the ring together, that's the story. Everybody in the audience that knows the Bullet Club, and you've seen the T-shirts, there's a lot of them that do.
Yeah, there was some there.
They get it. Everybody gets it. It's okay. Anybody that likes AJ, they're going to dig it because I think that I speak for all of us that like AJ Styles. Just ring the bell. That's it. All we care about is watching him work.
Yep.
I think a lot of people that feel the same way, or that like Finn Balor, feel the same way about him. Just let him go. And I don't mean to jump ahead. We'll get to that review, but I'm totally with you on just like okay, we need some emergency stuff here and la-di-da. So one of your emergency stopgaps being, well, these are two workers everybody wants to see, and we can't do Shinsuke and AJ because we got that planned for something later.
Yeah, that's somebody else.
Exactly, but how about this? And man, just that's why it's the whole thing. It's like, man, we're watching the show, right? And it's like, that was why we got excited about it because we're gonna hang out anyway. But you find out those two cats are going.
Why not? Man.
Seriously,
That was our solution to the match. Was screw the build up. Just call it the Battle for the Club match. Put Luke and Doc in a shark cage above the ring. And they're just like, save me, Finn.
My idea was for the stip to be that whoever won got custody of Doc and Carl. And then Jared busted out the shark cage, and it became, as I liked the idea until he said that, then I loved it. It became like the greatest thing ever, man. So then, Mattel puts out the 2 shark cage thing with exclusive Doc and Carl.
Oh, man.
For real. Help us. We gotta know who our poppy is. Tell us who the top guy is.
Yeah, battle for the top guy.
Battle for the top guy. But yeah, dude, it was. We'll get there.
So, man, we can get into.
Yeah.
I guess they kind of thought, well, we got nothing better to do than start the show off with Asuka and Emma, which ended up being a lot better than I think anybody thought it deserved to be.
I genuinely thought first of all, we talked about this. I think we talked about this, and if we didn't, I'll say it now. I mean, when they have the little 4-way for who's going to be the first person to work Asuka, it's like, well, Emma's going to win this.
Yeah.
And I'm glad she did, simply because, maybe they don't need to lose against right away, even though she did in that qualifier.
Yeah.
Sasha's not going to lose. That's the huge. Sasha and Asuka should have opened. Why? Who's going over? You don't book either one of them over there because this whole Asuka can come in and lose. She's not gonna yet. Not in the first match. Thank God, because if you want that, you'd book her with Alexa Bliss.
We're saving that.
Yeah, for real. So it's like, okay, Asuka, Emma, that's going to be really cool, man, because you've got 2 workers, you've got the debut. It's like, man, this really reminds me of. For Pete's sake, Ziggler and Nakamura, which I loved, and I think the man was pretty big on too. Yeah. And everybody else in the world hated, but hey, we thought it was cool. And that's exactly what it reminded me of. That is totally what it made me think of, man. As a rock-solid worker, you have a nice back-and-forth match, which, of course, got Nakamura crap because, well, he really gave Ziggler too much. It was an audition for New Japan. Yeah. Ziggler, whenever he goes, he'll be over there because they liked what they saw. Yep. That's what he was doing. That's what this was, too. It's more that old school appreciation thing, and I appreciate that it works better with Nakamura and Sami because Sami Zayn was the champ in NXT and he really was doing the favor, working with the guy and putting him over. But that's why that was so back and forth. If that's the established guy and he's beating me to make me the new top guy, you do him a favor by making him look good on the way out. That's exactly what happened with Ziggler, except he wasn't going anywhere. And it's what happened tonight with Emma. She ain't going nowhere either, but it's still cool that code is still a thing. Good match. I thought it was cool. I'm with you.
Yeah. And there were several Elias moments.
Yeah, Elias did 2 gigs in Minnesota tonight.
Yeah.
And one for Minneapolis and one for St. Paul, I guess.
So it was like every time, it's like, whatever. I don't know what was up with Jason Jordan's lime green MeUndies he had on. It's like, and this isn't working for him, brother.
Brother.
Then we got to the, I didn't realize it was a 205 tag team match, so I thought it was going to be another 4-way, because it seems like that's what they do.
Yes, sir. That's all they ever do.
But that was a good match. I dug it.
I completely agree. And we're both pretty big on Cedric and Rich anyway, man. And I mentioned during the show, I thought it was cool they dressed up like the Green Lantern Corps, because it's like
that was awesome.
Tag teams don't have to twin it up, but I like that kind of stuff. I like matching gear, or at least in this case, matching colors. It was cool, man. I thought that was really, really nice. And then I meant, sorry, that last comment was about the match, not the close. I promise I'm not talking about the close anymore, but I dug the crap out of that match. And 3 of those guys I really like anyway. Kendrick's good. I dig the other 3 guys a bunch.
Well, speaking of clothes, I missed when Jack Gallagher started wearing his 3-piece suit to the ring. I'm like, when did this happen? Where was the umbrella tights?
For real. Know? I feel bad for him having to wrestle in those shoes, because
that's not. How are you going to kick somebody with that?
That's a good question, man.
How you going to? And he probably had some type of special sole put on, but still, it doesn't look comfortable.
It just
at all.
looks like, God, that would suck, man.
This is not fun. It's not fun.
For real. Wrestling Informer, whatever, with Jack Gallagher. Yeah, man. But cool match. I'm with you. I like that one.
Or he dressed for the ride home.
He tuned in to ride along, and he's in there in his little black trunks with the stripes on him, and that's it. He goes from town to town in his old trunks.
Yep. Then we had Alexa Bliss and Mickie James, which ended up. It's the best Alexa Bliss match anybody's ever seen, whether they'll admit it or not.
I completely agree with that. It's because it's Alexa Bliss, of course, I have to complain, but I really don't. It's just frustrating. It's not her fault. It's just something that we talked about, man. I thought the entire point of bringing Mickie James back and inserting her into the Becky Lynch La Luchadora storyline, La Luchadora, is that okay? You've got Alexa. She's the hot new thing. You want to put the belt on her. No problem. You then have her wrestle with Becky Lynch again, and she wins again, and you move Becky into this feud with La Luchadora, who you then reveal as Mickie James whenever you want to. And basically you have that come down and do its thing, and it's all good. And I would put Becky back over and let her keep on going and la-di-da. But what you do then is have Mickie get ticked off at Alexa Bliss and be like, I had your back, you didn't have mine, but guess what, Chica? When I signed the contract to come back, man, I got an automatic championship match, and we're going to have that right now. And then you book Alexa Bliss with Mickie James, because we're going to the thing I said earlier. I thought the whole point of bringing her back is to bring in a veteran, multi-time champ who knows how to work really, really good matches. Can then go into a program with your green champ. Yes, she's green. Y'all make fun of Roman Reigns' ability in the ring, but you okay with Alexa Bliss? You're crazy. And that's what makes me nuts about her. I have never seen anybody force-fed the way Alexa Bliss is. Yeah. Alexa and Jinder Mahal are the exact same thing. The difference, well, they really are the same thing now, because now you've got Nakamura putting Jinder over, and you've got AJ putting him over, but we'll get to the next guy that's going to put him over, because that one I'm kind of happy about. So you're killing your entire talent roster to get this person over, where if you just had those veterans, not only could you get them over by beating established stars, but they're learning stuff. Yeah. That's what was frustrating about how good this match was, because it's like, man, if that is the second title segment, or program, that Alexa Bliss has, what kind of matches would she have had with Bayley? What would she have had with Sasha Banks? But no, you ruined both of them because you wanted to bypass that, and now you want to book her in there with the vet that can teach her a thing or two. That's horrible, horrible planning and horrible booking, and it makes me mad, because that was nice, and I think going forward we'll see a much better work out of Alexa.
I hope so.
I do too. Yeah. I do too, and I'm hoping that everybody, as long as everybody else gets back, it'll be fine. And Sasha will be fine. She's way too popular to stay down. But, man, it's like it was such a good idea. We got to shake this roster up because Monday Night Raw is my show and I want the blonde girl over here. And they had this whole big plan for her and then messed it up. And It could have been, obviously, it could have been really good, and hopefully, what that means is that now that they've done that, it will be real good.
Cool.
Because I'm with you, that was a cool match, much better than anything I've seen.
And we had Enzo and Kalisto with another match that is, you sit and watch it, kind of like, man, this show's ended up being a lot better than anybody thought it was going to be, and this is another one that kept that going.
I agree.
With just like, man, this is pretty good. I mean, I'm digging this.
I was telling the man, I loved the first Enzo Kalisto match way more than I should. So all the rumors about, Neville walked out, they had to call that on the fly, and la-di-da, all that's a bunch of crap. Mm-hmm. But I was hoping that the call it on the fly thing was true, because I'm like, even more of the death to the script. Because that match was awesome, and I loved it. But apparently the rumor, and it's all rumors, but the rumor is that the suplex spot with everybody catching them was the only thing. That and the finish. And everything else was made up. And I loved that. Then they come out and do this, and I loved it too. And the finish didn't bother me, because Enzo winning by underhanded means doesn't bother me. But we go back to the previous match. Why does Alexa keep winning clean? Now, tonight's a good idea, because, again, you just had Enzo. You don't want to do that back-to-back, because they overdo stuff anyway. But you need her to get a little more dirty, a little more lucky.
Yeah.
But still.
Every time, though.
But too many clean wins. That's all she ever did. Why do y'all think Bayley's dead now? Because the bad girl beat her up clean. It's like,
every time.
Every single time. Like, guys, this is not good.
And the match that we didn't know we were going to get, but we really wanted. Was Finn and AJ was just awesome.
I completely agree. I loved it. I could have imagined it, and it wouldn't. It's just incredible, man. I was very happy. And also, I love no build-up. We're in an emergency. I just give the people a good booking.
Just do it.
Good God, it was awesome. I loved it so much, man. People were into it, which is fine. Always helps. But good God, that was a sweet one. I loved it.
It's one of those kind of matches where it's like, just really anything that can be said about it, you just need to go watch it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the one from here that everyone's gonna be loving on. And I agree. I think it's awesome.
And up until this point in the show, everything was fine. But I would say it was a screeching halt the rest of the night. I thought it was going to pick back up later on, but it didn't.
It didn't for me either,
no.
To be honest with you.
Then we had Elias versus Jason Jordan, because for some reason somebody thought that would be a good idea to let's just make the match. And then they got way too much time.
I thought it was too long. And I know you got to have a buffer, because God forbid you have your main event follow Finn and AJ, because it wasn't going to live up, and guess what? It didn't anyway.
Yep.
But Elias and Jason
that buffer
Jordan,
really helped.
It was stupid. The finish was dumb. We're doing that dumb. Oh no, his shoulder was on. Oh my God, here we go again, man. And poor Jason Jordan, it just makes me so ill that it's like, we got to push this guy solo, but we're going to take his old partner from American Alpha and put him in another tag team with Shelton Benjamin, the guy that Jason Jordan was cloned from. You're breaking up American Alpha to make American Alpha. It's like, God, this is stupid.
So we got that working for him. And then with the whole Shield versus the World match.
Shield versus the rest of the locker room, plus garbage truck and chairs from heaven, apparently.
Yeah, it's just one of those matches where I think eventually it just got to... even Booker T had a comment in the match. It was like, I can't believe it's still going on. It's like, collectively speaking for all of us.
Yes, sir. Booker absolutely.
So why is this still going on?
Book spoke up for the world. I agree. It's like, this is... And it stinks, too, because there were a couple of things I really wanted to see. Basically, anything involving Seth Rollins and Cesaro, just because I like those guys. Yeah. But I don't think I remember anything from that match. It's just like, I did not like it. I just didn't dig it.
It's just from the get-go, it's like, okay, you have Roman Reigns, you got some of JoJo's doo-doo butter and can't be in the match. And you have Kurt Angle taking his place, which a lot of people have already made this point, but I'll piggyback on him because it's a good enough point. He's the general manager of Raw. He made this match. How stupid does it make him look to put himself in the match that's already a 3-on-5?
Yes, and not bring two people with him.
Why? Would you do that? So it was just dumb. And it was one of those kind of things where when it's a 5-on-3, there's So it felt like there was always 2 or 3 guys just kind of standing around like, what? And especially Braun's, he's gotten a lot better, but especially when he first started, he had that look on his face like, oh, what do I do now?
What do I do?
What I do now?
For real. Like, basically, your roles are.
Is this too much, Vince?
Basically, your roles are, Miz, stand around till it's time to powerbomb you. And that's pretty much all he did, and that's okay. It was his role. But it's just, I'm with you. It's just a stupid match format anyway. Because when it was 3-on-3, I thought it was cool. Mm-hmm. And you start adding people, and I'm like, God, this is so dumb.
Yeah.
Particularly, and that I'm not a Braun Strowman guy anyway, because I was telling Jared earlier, my problem with Braun Strowman is that people always complain about like Ricochet being a video game character and just doing all this bouncy stuff. I think that Braun Strowman is the video game character. It's like the old video game Rampage.
Yeah.
You're Godzilla, you walk around, you eat people off the toilet, you knock over buildings, la-di-da, and then he just keeps getting up and keeps getting up, and he's Kratos, and it's boring. I hate that stuff, man. I don't like that. But Braun and Brock, those are your video game characters, and I couldn't care less about any of that stuff. But yeah, it sucks. I hated to dislike that match as much as I did, but I just don't remember anything about it. I really was the 3-on-3 I thought would have been cool because obviously Cesaro would have been the workhorse, and I'd have got to see him do some stuff. So part of it's just greed. But.
Since when's there a TLC match where there's nothing to climb the ladder for? What sense does that make?
I'd not even thought of that, and then the man was like, there's nothing up there. This is the first time ever, right? And I'm like, holy crap, you're right. This is stupid, man.
I get, okay, you want to have a match with ladders and chairs in it, but have something to go climb up there and get. It's kind of part of the build-up. It's just kind of another dumb part of the match. We're going, well, why bother?
Man, I give you a cool stip, something they should have done, not necessarily hanging from the ceiling, but just spiritually for what TLCs are and Money in the Bank and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you're Kurt Angle and you get booked in, and this is stupid, but except for the surprise might have been interesting and just for some interest. If you're like 5-on-3 and you're too dumb to go running around to book people, man, why don't you write like a little backwards channel in to be all like, hey, Baron Corbin, you're a big guy. You're a strong guy. If you come and help this team out and we win, you get your briefcase back. That's at least interesting. And I mean, I'm not a Baron Corbin guy, but at least it's something interesting, and it'd be funky to see them
bringing SmackDown people over anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, you can catch a flight with AJ.
Yeah.
So I think that would be kind of a cool thing. And then you get a weird pairing of people, which I've always liked that stuff. They used to do that in Ring of Honor, called it Scramble Madness, and it's basically a Royal Rumble style lottery where you just pull 2 balls out and those guys are a tag team, and then they wrestle these guys and you have a tournament that way. So you wind up with just weird pairings, and of course, you rig it to where tag teams are broken up and they fight each other. And I always thought stuff like that for just a one time a year kind of thing is awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I hadn't thought about that till now, but I'm with you. So I'm like, you know what? It's Money in the Bank. Dang, it's TLC. We got nothing hanging up there, but let's pretend we did.
Why not?
I want you to pretend there's a briefcase up there. You help us win and it shares. That'd be cool. I think that's not a bad idea.
Hey, I like you.
Hey, I like you. For real, man. And then he can carry his U.S. title, or he can just go up and put both of them in people's faces. That's the big thing. Barrett apparently is really into like putting the belt right up on people.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like, there's people in the crowd, he's smashing them in the face with the big briefcase, knocking them off the rail. Who's a heel now?
You got to talk about the draft.
For real.
So we got that mess out of the way. Now we got Survivor Series and that to look forward to. So
one match in particular. I can't wait.
So apparently that's what's going down is Brock Lesnar versus Jinder Mahal. And do you have any thoughts on that?
Jinder's going to beat him. I think Jinder's going to beat him clean as a whistle, and I will tell you why.
All right.
We've already decided Jinder's our boy.
Yeah.
He got to go over Shinsuke. Rumor is he's going over AJ next. Mm-hmm. Why not? It's non-title. Who cares? Now, it sucks because it's like the Goldberg thing again where you'll have to spend the next however till WrestleMania building Brock up. So we'll feed him Finn Balor, but you were going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me, I'm drinking that too fast. But yeah, I think it's hilarious simply because we have been around long enough. I'm telling you, the man will agree with me on this. I haven't mentioned to him before, so this is exclusive. Jinder Mahal is just JBL 2.0. This is exactly what Vince did with JBL. He took the belt off of one of the most popular guys that was holding on to it, which is not necessarily the case of Jinder, but he beat Nakamura. He's going to beat AJ Styles. He took the belt off Eddie.
Yeah.
And then retained and retained and retained and retained, and it made everybody insane.
Yeah. How is he getting it?
It made people crazy. This is exactly what they're doing all over again. I think the difference with maybe not the difference, because JBL was still around. But, Jinder's going to be around. It's all good. I think it sucks. I think that's the guy that you want to beat Brock Lesnar with to give him have him bounce up and make you money going forward. Okay. But I do think it's funny. It's the same thing with, like, the suggestion that Jinder Mahal might be the guy to break CM Punk's record. I hope he is. I think that would be the funniest and greatest thing ever. Because there's about 50 people I can name that I would rather have break that record. But how funny. It's just how funny, man. That would just be awesome. And
It's extra special when it's somebody that nobody wanted in the first place.
Yeah, and then right after Jinder breaks the record and CM Punk really needs to get out that lawsuit, and he decides to come back for one night, Jinder can beat him too.
Yeah.
It was just like so awful.
Did the job.
It's so awful. It makes you laugh. You can't help but chuckle at it like, oh my God.
It has to be what happened.
Yeah, it's the only logical conclusion, man. That's where we're going with this pile of crap.
Then the world can just end and it'll all be great.
Then we'll all be fine, then.
So, man, that's what's up and what's going down. Is it anything else about this crappy show that we forgot to mention?
Man, there was something. I can't believe I don't remember it now, man. But there was some idea we were talking about that. I know one thing I want to mention just to make sure. The whole the idea a couple of shows back, man. I sent the man a note on one of our. There's a comment on one of our videos about just where I think all this. It's not where I think it's going. It's where I hope it's going. And this is all of the. It ties everything together as far as the tweet wars between the Bullet Club, and it ties together, even in my opinion, like the first piece, the first plank in this entire story is the fact that NXT shows are called Takeover. It goes all the way back to that, and I like it. I think it's cool. It's not it's not necessarily what I think is going to happen. It's what I hope is happening, because I would love it if for the last at least 3 years leading into now and over the next 2, Vince McMahon is booking his retirement as the greatest and most long-running wrestling angle of all time. And all this crap with him in Ring of Honor, him in New Japan, it's all a work. Every bit of it is orchestrated. Every bit of it's coordinated. Which I have the orchestration, maybe not. Now, the idea of them playing off each other. That's gospel truth. That is not my opinion. Everyone's freaking out because Jericho's talking crap about Kenny Omega, and Kenny Omega replied, the man was just on his podcast.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. Kenny Omega is booked on Chris Jericho's cruise. Chris Jericho is going to be at Final Battle. I believe it. That's what all the it references were, and being the elite. I believe this stuff is what's going on. I mentioned this to the man, and I promise I'll stop after this, but it's exciting to me, so I want to mention it. Tons of speculation about things that'll change when Vince isn't in charge. What's Triple H going to change? Well, we've always said, man, watch NXT, and I think you get an idea of what Triple H has in mind.
Yeah.
But the number one thing, if I could change anything with WWE, I would absolutely love to see them use one-day contracts. Yeah. You are never going to get Kazuchika Okada to leave New Japan, but you can have him come to WrestleMania. Yeah. You can have the Young Bucks at TLC. You have Kenny Omega at the Royal Rumble. I think that is a great idea to genuinely do the Japan-style independent contractor thing they always talk about. Why not?
Do it.
Why not? Why would you not put Kenny Omega on the Royal Rumble, book it for a straight-up one-off, just like Finn and AJ tonight? Why not? It would be the coolest thing for everybody. For everybody. Now, I know negotiating wins and losses would be very difficult, but independent shows, even going back to like cross-federation shows, any type of crossover, that's difficult. But if you have one-day contracts, they can go both ways. So if Kenny Omega comes over and does the job to... if Kenny's losing, he's got to lose to somebody I love. We'll do Jericho. If Kenny Omega's coming over and doing the job to Jericho, then Jericho goes to the Tokyo Dome in January and returns the favor. It would be the best.
Yeah.
That would be the coolest thing ever. If I could change anything, that's what it would be. I don't care about Attitude Era. I want to bring back the bra panty matches. Heck with all that stuff, man. Just non-exclusivity, because you're going to have to get there anyway. You will either do that or you will go out of business. I think that would be, incredibly cool because then you make money off everybody. You can't make all the money off of everybody, but boy, you make it for one day.
Yeah.
I love that idea. So I don't know if I don't even think that's what they're doing, but I'd love it if it's what they were doing because that all started tonight for me with the. I wanted the Shield to win, then I wanted Seth and Roman to beat him up and kill him, and basically cut a CM Punk promo and explain. Remember all that crap that CM Punk used to talk about putting the Shield together? It was going to be him and his favorite indie guys. Well, all that's true because it was him and it was Jon Moxley, and you point over, I mean, use the names and everything. Point to Dean, it was Jon Moxley, and it was Cassius Ohno, who's not even here. And it was Tyler Black. And then that's your promo. And you basically start talking about, oh, he's got Ring of Honor, WWE. Yeah, well, half the guys in WWE are Ring of Honor kids.
Yeah.
And then you can make that the basis of your takeover. I love it. I think it's awesome. And then basically you make Roman Reigns your new Sting character, except you don't have to do that. Because now you ain't got to do nothing with him.
Yeah.
It's not Vince's boy anymore, so when he just shows up and jacks stuff up, I would do Roman Reigns like what we talked about with what the Addiction are doing in Ring of Honor. They just show up and mess stuff up.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't dig that? Come through the crowd, jump over the barricade, beat the crap out of everybody in the ring, and leave.
Yeah.
It's unsanctioned. He never gets matches. It does okay, and then eventually you book him in a big old blood feud with somebody, and maybe someone will be into it by then.
Cool.
I would love stuff like that. But anyway, I knew there was one more thing, but it was the contract thing. So thank you. That was what I wanted to get out there because I love that idea. Oh, and Final Battle because I'm pretty sure I'm right about that.
Yeah. I'm about to fall asleep.
I can dig it. Hope y'all dug this show and the pay-per-view. And man, I hope you enjoyed Finn and AJ as much as we did because that was radical.
All right.
Yeah.
Ah.